the fact that this country was founded principally on the right to pursue religious freedom and to worship freely. And that's what it always reminds me of, that it's part of the, it's the First Amendment. It protects our right of speech, our right to assemble, and our right to pursue our own religion. And that's very important. I think we overlook that. Many countries today still have religion is, under the foot of government. And we in this country, have to be obviously vigilant that doesn't happen. But that's the one thing this reminds me of, what a great country we have, that we are based on the fact that we can freely assimilate and we can pursue our religion without government interference. That's what it sort of means to me. And it's central to, I think, who we are as Americans.
Well, I think, historically it's taken on a different shape over time, because I think at the founding of the United States and the original inspiration, people were basically religious. It was the question of whether Catholics could still practice their faith in a Protestant world, right, or I suppose whether Jewish people could, at that time, right, because it had to do with a particular faith. But now, as more and more people abandon religion and we enter into a very secularized world in which the traditional morality of Judeo-Christian teaching is abandoned, then it becomes a question not of this or that particular religion, but of any religious conviction or moral conviction at all.
Well, I think the whole premise of freedom is the fact that we are allowed to pursue those religious beliefs without government interference, government action. And as Catholics, we need to be incredibly vigilant and not give an inch for our ability to practice our religion and to spread the gospel as we feel it, and as is laid down in our basic tenets of our religion. And I think the more we do that, and have done that, Catholics everywhere feel more empowered to talk about why it's an integral part of their lives that defines them as human beings. I think all too often certain people in politics do exactly what you're trying to do. If they quarrel with your religious beliefs, they try to demonize you or to limit you or to punish. And I don't think we in the Catholic faith have anything to be apologetic about. If anything, what we do and what we promote through our Catholic teachings on charity, on love, on respecting human life from beginning to end, those are universal principles, and I think they are catching on more. I think, as you and I have seen some of these, at least some of the rallies that we had at the state capitol this year for the pregnancy care centers, I would say the overwhelming majority of people who came out voluntarily, there were young people, young women, young men. So I'm very upbeat about the long term, but again, we have to be vigilant that these problems will always, I think, continue to be part of our society. But at least in this society, this free and open American society, we can pursue those freedoms.
Yes, I mean, for example, today we have situations where nurses are told that if they will not assist at an abortion, or doctors, if they will not perform them, that somehow they're going to be hounded out of their profession because out of lack of respect for their religious and moral convictions. And this kind of threat is making great headway in certain circles. As the United States becomes more ideological and divided about these things, and even extreme, those are the things that we have to, those are questions of religious liberty.
The secularists always overplay their hand, I think. They always are trying, as they did this year at the state capitol. They were adamant about stopping pregnancy care centers. Well, we were able to stop them. And I think part of it was that many people, even people that are from the pro-choice world, understood that the vital role these pregnancy care centers play in women's health and promotion of life. They saw that the efforts by the state to stop that was not in the public policy interest. So that was encouraging. We were also encouraged, as you know, with stopping physician-assisted suicide from becoming law in this state without even a vote being taken in the committee and the committee chairman saying he's not going to bring it up. Many of us were concerned about the makeup of the Connecticut legislature at the last election, but again, people of faith came forward. People of faith reached out to their legislators and said, no, this is not a policy that we should be doing. We should be respecting life, looking for alternatives for care, palliative care,
yeah.
and not just making this a disposable secular society. That's not what life's about. The beauty of life is, from the beginning to the end, is there, and only through the love of Christ and others can we pursue that. I think we're moving the other direction. At least I'm optimistic that we are. We have to fight for that.
Well, this conversation is very encouraging to me because I am bringing up some of the stark realities that I think are evolving in our society, and not just in the United States,
right,
but in the world. So to hear you, and I know we've talked about this before, and the Connecticut Catholic Conference this year has done a stellar job in representing these values and religious freedom, and so that's very encouraging to me. But to hear that because you're working with people on both sides of the aisle of many different religions and persuasions, as they say, and if you're taking a certain encouragement from that, which clearly you are, that it's not a losing battle or a hopeless battle, then I think that we should all be encouraged by that.